NaDa is getting another command center out and adding 2 more factories, so he's probably gonna take that mineral only again. Observer under fire from those turrets there. We're gonna see whether he tries to move in the shadow. He's actually gonna be able to move out with at least 1 zealot. That's get hit. And it's gonna start attacking the tank, but Island gets taken. A reaver meanwhile also goes to get some 1 reaver shot. Ooh, barely tank, barely manages to survive. Feel lucky, Mr. Master Sergeant. You barely survived. No huge excitement so far in this game. JangBi now adding the Citadel of Adun, so he's going to have some Zealot speed ready fairly soon. That command center, meanwhile, now is up for NaDa, and he's also adding an academy, so he's going to get some scan just in case. He knows that observers are. He knows that eventually it's going to come down to Archons, and the way this match is going along, that's exactly what could happen. So he's going to need a bunch of scans going for him. Did I say Archons when I meant Arbiters? Crap. Scouting SCV of NaDa's gets taken down, and now the shuttle has speed, so we're going to see he might actually think of suiciding the shuttle in and just flying it in. He might actually manage it with that speed going to do a lot of damage. I think NaDa might actually think of adding at least 1 more turret. He has Goliaths out there, and he's adding even more factories, so he's getting some Goliaths that they're going to help him with those Arbiters once they come out. And overall, NaDa, with those Dragoons in position at the mineral only of NaDa's not going to be able to take his mineral only right away. He's going to have to push out a little bit. Meanwhile, a second Reaver has been put in a shuttle by JangBi, so he's going to try to do another harass with 2 Reavers this time. And NaDa, meanwhile, now he's going to move out with some Goliaths and tanks, sieging those up. He's going to move downwards, going to try to take his mineral only. Has some Marines alongside as well. Those that survive the early fights, they become veterans. Yeah. So now JangBi's going to be forced to move completely out of this position. Far too many tanks there in location for NaDa, and JangBi apparently thinking of expanding yet again. Also has Templar Archives now, so those High Templar are going to be out fairly soon. We're going to see some JangBi Storms, of course. He's a guy that somehow manages to get Templar in the weirdest locations and managed to get him storming off on a crap load of tanks without those tanks actually killing them in time. It's very interesting how he manages that. Sometimes I can't even tell. Sometimes when I watch JangBi storm a crap load of tanks, I'm like, where's the High Templar? I see storms. Where the heck is the High Templar? Because I sometimes just don't see them, but I see crap load of storms. So NaDa has now established his mineral only. He's a little bit behind economically. JangBi now again reestablishing a base at a 5 o'clock. Meanwhile, 2 shuttles out, both speed upgrade, and probably 4 Reavers now inside. He's actually going to move out on this occasion. Nothing but a turret and a tank. Going to move out some Zealots, engage the tanks. Now going to try to do some economic damage. NaDa moving his SCVs away in time. Dud Carrot actually. Is it? Yes, Dud Carrot. No SCV damage. But meanwhile, all those Reavers out there are going to be able to take out a lot of these tanks. Those gas mining SCVs all going to get taken down. Now he's going to start by attacking the factories. Some of these actually get taken down. Vultures there in location trying to put down some mines. Now Zealot getting killed instantly. Some shuttles some under turret fire. I believe 1 other Reaver got taken out there. I saw some sort of blast, and there's still 1 shuttle there in flight. I'm not quite sure what's inside there. NaDa, I think now is going to move out with those Goliaths into the location, try to take it out. Also, NaDa now getting another command center, going to try to expand yet again, and now finally moving SCVs back into his main. Not a lot of economic damage done, but he almost lost his factory, which would have been very bad for him. JangBi has now set up his 4th base, should be starting mining from it fairly soon. Now getting his own Stargate, so we're going to see Arbiter tech up fairly soon. Don't see any Templar from him yet, but he's going to need those Templar and those Arbiters alongside to hide those High Templar in the Arbiter cloak field. Upgrades on the way, of course, and Academy under some fire there. And again, the shuttle going to move out, and almost nothing to defend this. Some shots going off, but the Reaver manages to pop inside, and this time there's going to be no escape. As he's not actually managed to meet up, but a Dud Scarab. Oh, bad luck for JangBi. One Reaver instantly gets taken down, and those tanks are in location. A few SCVs actually got taken down by that Reaver, but overall not too much damage. And the shuttle now going to move northwards. Going to take out those 2 idle SCVs. Not actually, interestingly enough, has some idle SCVs. He's just trying micro around maybe a little bit too much. Now the Reaver going to go into the natural. Scarab going to go off. We're going to see what it. Oh man, it's going to be another dud. Oh, 1 SCV. 3 or 4 SCVs. So pretty decent harassment all in all. JangBi also doing some troop movement. Has a large group, 2 large groups of forces. One with Dragoons only, another with other forces alongside. The Reaver just needs 1 shot from almost anything to get taken down. Now going to again move on to the main. Take down even more probes again. Microed. Even more SCVs. I'm sorry I said probes. I meant SCVs. Oh man, this is exactly what JangBi is needed to do. The SCV he needs to have 1 tank in any position, because 1 tank shot on that Reaver takes it down. Even tried to engage it. And actually, it's going to be a fleet beacon. It's not actually going to be Arbiters. JangBi is going for a fleet beacon, so he's actually going to go for carriers. I think he added 2 more stargates. So JangBi, that's why he's getting so much aggressive, being so aggressive with his harassment. Is actually that Shadow got taken down, and the Reaver going to get taken down by SCV. Bunch of kills, so one SCV with a kill there, but a lot of economic damage now has been, and now slight engagement there. High Templar moving in, storming a bunch of tanks. Oh, look at all those JangBi storms. Some of them actually missing a little bit. Just stacking storms upon storms. Even more tanks getting it stormed now. Moving into the natural of NaDa here. NaDa now in serious danger. I'm not even sure if he spotted the fact that JangBi's not going Arbiters, because, I mean, that he's not going Arbiters. Yeah, he has now 3 Stargates, all pumping carriers. And NaDa's going to have to spot this soon, because he needs to get a serious amount of Goliaths. The problem, of course, is that he also needs a bunch of ground force, because JangBi is going to get carriers. But before he's teched up to carriers, he's gotten himself a humongous ground force. So NaDa's going to have to engage both air and ground. NaDa has weapons 1 and armor 1, while NaDa, that is, and JangBi has weapons 1, so he's keeping up with NaDa this time. He knows that one of the reasons that they lost last game was because there's no upgrades. NaDa had just 2 armor, 3 weapons. That, of course, was critical. NaDa now establishing the 9 o'clock position, so he's definitely trying to keep up economically, but now those carriers are out there. I'm not quite sure if NaDa spotted those or not. He needs to start spotting those right now, because he needs to get a lot of Goliaths. He just doesn't have enough Goliaths on the ground to counteract, because JangBi's probably going to get like probably 6 carriers most likely before he actually thinks of winning out, because I'm not quite sure if he's spotted or not, but he's definitely going to get a decent amount of carriers before he moves out with those, and they're going to supplement his ground force so well, especially because JangBi's going to be able to move out with his ground force and take out any Goliaths as they try to engage the carriers. Interesting position there, almost as if they're ready for an Arbiter, but I've not seen an Arbiter. And Templar drop. Balls. A lot of few SCVs got taken down, but interestingly enough, the SCVs that he was transferring weren't there in the location yet, so now turrets being set up by NaDa to try to take out any more harassment. Large ground force meanwhile from JangBi. He's still producing those carriers, but with 4 mining bases, I think he still has some minerals in his main, so 4 mining bases, he can get a bunch of carriers. The shuttle now in serious danger, not going to be able to drop again. I think if he moves nose, going to take down, moves south, going to take down. No, actually with 3 carriers, JangBi's going to reveal his hand. NaDa now is producing some Goliaths. I'm not sure if it's late or not. Still getting upgrades from 2 armories. Those carriers are actually going to move there, I think, at the 9 o'clock location, and NaDa has to get some. It has 2 turrets there, a 3rd turret coming up, and a 4th as well. So he's going to have to move those Goliaths there ASAP. Those interceptors doing a pretty good job of taking out those turrets before they manage to take out the intercept. Even more turrets not being put down. And Goliaths finally in location. They do, of course, have Terran boosters, so they're doing a pretty good job overall. Not quite sure. Interesting enough, JangBi also has air upgrades, air weapons upgrades, so his interceptors do extra damage. Pretty good job overall. At least I think he does. I believe that's that 1+4. Another engagement now here. JangBi getting move out with his Zealots and Dragoons. And I think NaDa's just in such a dangerous position. Ooh, loses the launch of Vultures there to his own mines. Now JangBi moving very aggressively into the base here. Losing some of his Zealots to mines though. And also moving with those carriers alongside there. Of course, going to be able to completely rape this SU line. There are some Goliaths in location.